Hello everybody and welcome to KDStudios Round Highlights. I'm your host Kevin and today I'll be going through all the highlights and talking points of Round 2 for the 2021 A-League season. We start off today with Sydney v Wellington on the Saturday afternoon, which was probably the game of the round. It had everything in it. It had goals, a debutant scoring, a TV shut down in the middle of a goal, and a late goal by the Phoenix denied by VAR, and a stroke of unluck. So the match started with Josh Sotirio being one-on-one with the goalkeeper, Redmayne, although his shot went a little bit wide off the right side of the goals. Sydney would then dominate large chunks of the first half, and Callum Newenoff, a debutant playing his first ever A-League game, scored a long shot right into the left corner of the goal. And many are calling it a potential goal of the year candidate. The half would end with Mirza Muratovic scoring and equalising so that Wellington would go into the sheds 1-0 with Sydney. But no one watching from home saw it because right before the goal was scored, ABC and FoxSports decided to go black. So we had to basically listen to Brendan Speed's commentary. That was our only indication that the goal was scored, though we would later see the goal later in the broadcast. But not before Luke Bratton scored a goal from a set shot to put the Sky Blues up in the 55th minute. The match would end in the most unluckiest circumstances for Wellington, with Ulysses de Villa striking to hit the back of the net, but the strike did deflect off Tomo Hamed, who was in an offside position, and technically because the goal was under his name because he last touch, the goal didn't actually count. So it was a very unlucky loss for Wellington. Over at Amy Park, it was Brisbane Roar who stunned the victory against all odds and got all 3 points. It all started with Scott McDonald and the VAR. McDonald scored from what the VAR deemed as an offside position. The Roar protested, it went up to the VAR, and it turns out that McDonald was seen to be onside, and therefore the goal was given. McManaman would later equalise after Gillespie tripped while trying to attempt to tackle McManaman, and he scored over a few players to equalise for victory. He would threaten again a few minutes later, but this time the strike went just left to the goals. In the second half, it was Macarthur Gillespie, the villain from Melbourne's goal, who actually became the hero. He headed a corner ball right into the net, and Wenzel Halls would finish the Raw's 3-goal haul after taking on 2 victory defenders to score the 3rd goal. All up, it was a disappointing first outing for Melbourne Victory, who many predict are going to rise up the ladder this year with a few good imports and a very strong attack, whilst Brisbane Roar stunned everyone with their 3-goal haul, given that their deficiency has been their attack last year. They've got a very good defence, but if they keep attacking the way they did today, then with their great defence and probably the best goalkeeper in the competition, there should be no reason why Brisbane can't contend this year. It's something which Central Coast fans aren't exactly used to, but they'll take it. 2 wins from 2 games in top of the ladder position. It was the Mariners who upset Macarthur in Macarthur's very first game at Campbelltown Oval. It all started with Daniel De Silva opening up the scoring in the 35th minute to silence the Macarthur fans who were ringing their bells a lot during the game. Macarthur would then squander 2 pretty good chances in the second half, but it was in the 85th minute that Daniel Booman distracted the goalkeeper, Federici, crossing it over to Smiles, who scored into the empty net. And that would be the Central Coast Mariners 2-0 win. Little bit of an upset, and Macarthur would really want to use this as a learning experience. It's not exactly the best way to start off after their first win. But as for Mariners fans, well, the promise continues. The Mariners keep showing promise for the future. They've won a couple games, which is good. I do still think that the fade out will occur soon. But enjoy it while you can, Mariners fans. You're at the top of the ladder at the moment, and you are tracking relatively well, I could say. It's been nearly a year since Adelaide United last played at Cooper Stadium, but they returned to that very stadium today in front of 10,000 fans. And boy did they deliver to them, beating flag favourites Melbourne City 2-0. It was all because of Adelaide scoring 2 late goals and a Melbourne City red card. First of all, Tommy Urich scores from a Dorigo free kick, and Tommy Urich, he scored his first goal since his return to the club, and it was Stephen Mork who would score 10 minutes later to put the Reds up 2-0 and second on the ladder. It's only been 5 days since Adrian Luna got sent off with 2 yellows, and now the exact same thing has happened to Melbourne City. No, not Adrian Luna, he didn't play. Scott Jamieson. In the 55th minute, he was given a yellow card for arguing with the ref, and he was given another yellow card in the 65th minute for blocking De Cooley from the box, and was subsequently sent off. And to make matters worse, Dorigo was given a free kick in that position, would pass it off to Urich, and he would be the one that would put Adelaide on the score sheet. So now Melbourne City will be without their captain Scott Jamieson for next week. Oh, but that's okay. They get Adrian Luna back, don't they? So, over the next week's games. First of all, Carl Robinson returns to Newcastle for the first time since he left, as his Wanderers take on the Jets. I think the Wanderers will win because Newcastle are in such a bad state. They even lost to the Mariners. I know they beat the Bulls, but I think the Wanderers, let's see what Carl Robinson can do there to build to fix the Wanderers after they showed a few deficiencies against the Bulls. And then on Saturday, it's Macarthur and Wellington. I'm going to tip Wellington. Macarthur seemed a little bit scrappy against the Mariners. Wellington lost by just unluck, okay? Wellington lost by a lack of luck. And I think if they can be a little bit more lucky, I think they'll get 3 points against Macarthur. And on Sunday, Brisbane Roar and Melbourne. If Brisbane won and scored 3 goals at Amy Park, well, they're going to score 3 goals at Redcliffe Oval. As simple as that. Let's see what Melbourne Victory can do. They, honestly, on paper, I'd tip Melbourne, but the form guide shows that Brisbane will win that game. So over to the ladder now is Central Coast in a league of their own, who are on top with 6 points, followed by Adelaide, who's on 4. Brisbane, Sydney, Macarthur and Melbourne City all have a win each. Western United obviously have the draw, and Perth Glory have done, well, nothing yet because they haven't done anything. They haven't played any games. As for Western Sydney, Newcastle, Wellington and Melbourne, they are all sitting winless, drawless on 0 points and with a negative goal differential, with Melbourne being on bottom, having conceded an extra goal to every other team. So, those were all the highlights from round 2 of the 2021 A-League season. Hopefully I've caught you up with everything you need to know about the current state of play in the A-League. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, please subscribe, please comment on your thoughts of the video and on the state of the A-League. Please check out some of my other videos and tune in to next week's edition of A-League Round Highlights. The only show on free-to-air or any free platform where you can watch someone review each round of the A-League, okay? I will see you next week for A-League Round Highlights Round 3. Goodbye.